We're headed back out to Lake Andy. I've been working on this mystery for like 5 days now. I've made 4 trips out here, 3 of them in the water. And, I've looked at everything and I still can't place this thing. I don't know what it is. And so we're going to go back out again and take another look. Good. Today I enter the halls of the greatest marine archaeologists of Adak of all time. I have all the gear I need to go snorkeling just because this isn't in deep water, but it'll be way more comfortable to measure, take photos and everything if I'm all covered and not in the water, which is actually pretty warm today, but it would get cold after a while. It's aircraft grade aluminum. It's riveted like a plane part. Out here, there was only 2 types of aircraft that operated in that area. The PBY Catalina, which is a big flying boat, and the smaller Kingfisher, it was made by a company called Vought. Anyways, I've looked at everything I can on those, and I haven't been able to find a thing. I've been working under the assumption that it's the wing float for the smaller plane, the Kingfisher. But even that, I'm starting to have doubts about. Yeah, so this area has changed really dramatically. I have the first recon photos that they shot of this area before they had built it up at all. And you can see the original line of the island's actually kind of where the road is now. And what they did is they pushed a bunch of fill into here, flattened it out. I've actually got a photo of a dozer pushing land out that way. And I've got another one. They ended up putting a hangar over here. And in the photo that I've got in my mind right now, there's 3 Kingfishers lined up right here, the smaller planes, and then there's 2 PBYs right over there. And then this lip of land right here, that's where they taxied in and out, and that's where there's a bunch of Marston matting under that area. And then over here, they've got the sheet pile wall. And that area, they had it actually, the sheet pile kind of went all the way around, and there was a small entrance for boats and things. So they could get supplies in and out and send boats out to help recover planes when they couldn't make it back to shore. So it'll be cool to kind of look at the historical photos and then, what it looks like today. Right here, we got to walk through an old foundation. You can kind of see it right here. They had a big building up here that was part of this whole complex. So somebody's moved it, and that sucks because it means that it'll end up in somebody's freaking living room, and the problem is people die, and then what happens? It ends up in a landfill. It's like, that's happened with so much stuff out here, It's like people like, oh, this will look cool, so they put it in their house, and then they fucking die, they leave, whatever, the house is cleaned out, falls down, and the thing is kind of lost. It'd be better off not ever being found, right? My view anyways. So I'm gonna relocate it eventually after I get some more data from it. Yeah, funny enough, my dad was an amateur World War II historian. And when I was a kid, he organized a reunion, and he had a bunch of the veterans that served out here come out here, and they got to see the place they had fought 40 years earlier. And so I got to meet a lot of them. So yeah, IDing this thing, and kind of putting it in space and time would be really cool. Okay, so I didn't take it out of the water before because it was filled with sand, and this door had actually come off, so it became a little bit fragile. I know the distance between here and here is 47 inches, and this looks like it was rounded, obviously, at one time. There's actually a weld here, though, which is different. This was kind of the same thing, and it had this cover over it, but you can see rivets kind of down like along here. It's this thing that's kind of interesting to me. I don't know quite what it is, and obviously you can see it wasn't ovoid shape though, because this has got to be in about the same condition it was when it was built, and just smashed a little bit and then corroded. But yeah, this I couldn't find anywhere on any of the aircraft stuff that I looked at. But I've worked around airplanes my whole life. My stepfather's a legendary bush pilot out here who flew amphibians, by the way. Grumman amphibians, a lot like these, this side down. But man, I don't know. Somebody's gonna know what this is, and they're gonna say you're an idiot for not knowing. And I guess I will be. I just haven't seen this thing. Because I don't want this to disappear, I'm just going to move it. Our problem was when we did this, and I knew this was easy to find. The fact I hadn't found it in, literally probably 500 landings on this beach alone, it could have been anything. I just never went over this exact part of it. But yeah, so we're just gonna move it a little bit, and we won't have these easy land features that were in my previous video. So with that, I'm not going to show you where I'm putting this. I went out there and put that thing in deeper water, and I found some cool shit. It's Adak. I went to hide something a little bit deeper water and brought back two other things. So this, I don't know if this is World War II era or not. I have a lot of mugs from that time. This one's one, really clean, and two, I'm not sure it's quite the shape, but actually it might be because they had this one kind of finger hole in the ones I found. So we'll try and enhance that and find out. And then this, I don't know what it is. I don't know, could be part of a building too. There's plenty of buildings around here. And it seems kind of more recent. You know what? That's what I'm supposed to be doing on all these YouTube videos, is getting the viewer involved. So if anyone out there has any idea what this is, what that piece is that I put out there in the water again, or if you want a nice coffee mug, reach out. So the good news is I know what the thing is that we found in the lake. It took me a long time. So I apologize, one, for the kind of chunky chronology of this video, and two, that it took so long. But I did find out what it was. And here's an explanation. So this is the mug I found in the lake. When I brought it out, I couldn't even tell if it was the mug that I found out here forever, even though I drink out of one every day. You can see I had coffee in it this morning. But normally these things look more like this. And that's how most things look out here. They look old and they've been in the ground a long time. So they're hard to identify. So the airplane part, I was looking in the wrong spot. I was looking at the exterior of a thing rather than thinking about what might have been in the interior. And that's where almost all the pictures, there's not a lot of pictures of the interior of World War II aircraft. So that was kind of on me. But that piece, it's semi-cylindrical in order to fit inside the shape of an airplane. So it would have fit right under the blister window on the PBY, and it would have held safety gear. That way, if the guys had to unass the plane, they'd have had the, their life rafts in the water, and they would have grabbed this box, the semi-cylindrical shape, and they would have had flares and water and other things that they would have needed. They also could have used that to pitch it to pilots who were in the water already, because the PBY was a rescue plane. It was recon, rescue, that kind of thing. So it's funny. I could have looked forever and ever and never figured that out. There are no pictures of that part though, so I can't show you a comparison of what it looked like before or after. Though, if you can find me a picture of that thing, I'll reward you with a coffee mug. But yeah, really, it was a good challenge on something that I've never seen before. And the reason this took so long, I take all this stuff very carefully, right? You saw me measure, and I went out there for 4 days kind of measuring, digging around it. Didn't want to ruin it. Of course, somebody did go out and move it, but whatever, it's humanity, right? What are you going to do? But yeah, I grew up with my mom, archaeologist, anthropologist, and then I made my living doing field science, geophysics for unexploded ordnance. So I take the data and the location of things and the history of things very seriously. So I spent a lot of time on this one, and I hope to find something like this again. And I think this might connect us to another thing that still is in the lake. It was a plane crash from 1961, which I've kind of like been my white whale. So I'm not going to go into that today because it's kind of, that one's too important to me too. But look, I found what that thing was, and I had so much fun doing it. It was 4 days of being in the water, which, you know, took me back to being 12 years old. So with that, I'm going to close this one out and get it up because I'm already a day late. So I'll see you next time.